Hey everyone, I've got another Stranger Things video for y'all today. So, as I've said previously, I absolutely love Stranger Things 4. I think it's by far the best season of the show yet. It was a lot of fun to watch, and I think the main reason it's so entertaining is because there's so many great characters. And it's difficult, usually to juggle a lot of characters, but I think this season does it really well, and they're able to, blend all the various character arcs together into one cohesive, entertaining story. So I think they did a great job with all of that, but of course, as with anything, there are going to be flaws, and while I love most of these characters, there are a few that I didn't like, a few I was disappointed by, and chief among them is Mike Wheeler. So, Mike was a disappointment to me, mainly because he was very one dimensional. And by that, I mean that the entire season he was always just focused on his relationship with Eleven. The entire time, that's all he thought about, he talked about. I mean, 99.99% of the time, that's what his focus was. And of course, it's perfectly fine for him to, have that be one of the most important things in his life. Of course, I mean, 11 is a very important person to him, and she, feels the same way about him, and that's perfectly fine. But he shouldn't do that to the detriment of the other important people in his life, his best friends and his family. And I don't think anyone suffers more from his neglect than Will Byers. And Will Byers, shares a really emotional moment with Mike in the back of the pizza van. I'm sure you all know the scene. Um, when Mike is really concerned about his relationship with Eleven, and Will, helps him out and gives him this kind of emotional speech saying, "Hey, look, Eleven loves you, and we'll always need you, and always, want you by our side," and all this stuff to really reassure Mike that his relationship with Eleven is solid and is, he doesn't need to worry, right? But what Mike doesn't get is Will isn't just talking about the relationship between Mike and Eleven. Will is actually talking also about the relationship between himself and Mike. And this really just completely flies over Mike's head, and he completely misses the fact that Will is really struggling on the inside with his mental health, and clearly like withholding, saying the obvious. And I think the obvious is there's a lot of stuff going on that Will isn't sharing, and the kind of lead theory is that Will is struggling to come out about being gay. And personally, I do think that probably is the likely situation, and it makes total sense. And I can understand how difficult that would be, being feeling so different from everyone else and not knowing how to come out about that to your friends, and especially for him, if it is the case that he's gay and that he feels love for Mike and he wants to have a relationship with Mike. Obviously I can see how hard that would be for him seeing Mike with Eleven, because obviously that means he's in a different relationship, and also that he's probably straight. So that means that if Will has this love for Mike, that's probably not a love that Mike can return to him. And I can't imagine how difficult that'd be for him, to have bottled up. And I really do think Mike drops the ball by not, opening up to Will. And of course, I mean, you can't expect Mike to create these feelings for himself. I mean, everyone needs to be themselves. And, if Mike is genuinely himself, and that's just, he's straight, I mean, there's no problem with that. I mean, Mike has as much of a right to be himself and be straight as Will has to be himself and be gay, right? But I do think Mike was just so clueless in the scene about what Will was going through, and he should have noticed that. I mean, he was literally like crying, trying to hide his tears and stuff, and this just goes right over Mike's head. And I think it's just laughable that he didn't notice this. He should have noticed that, and a good friend would have been like, "Hey man, what's going on? I mean, please, I'm your best friend, and I'm here for you. I got your back. You can tell me anything. I'm here to support you. I mean, please, I'm gonna support you no matter what, and please be open with me. I can help you. I can always be, that shoulder to cry on, that person to talk to in times of need, right?" And maybe obviously it still could be hard, even if Mike can open up to him. Obviously it's not, again, Mike can't create this love for Will that Will has for him, but he can definitely be a voice and help Will feel comfortable about coming out with whatever he's bottling up, whether it's being gay or whether it's something else. And no matter what it is, it would be, I can imagine it would be so helpful for Will to be able to have that person to talk to, and be able to not have it bottled up on the inside, and be able to actually express himself. And Mike completely missed the opportunity to be there for his friend. And I really think that's just the sign of a poor friend at the end of the day. And I know Mike's still a kid, but he's a high schooler and he's almost a young adult, and he should be mature enough to be able to, one, notice that Will is having problems, and two, to open up and talk to Will and make sure that Will feels comfortable and supported by his one of his best friends. So he completely drops the ball on that, and mainly because he's just so focused on himself, and he's focused on his relationship with Eleven, and because he's so focused on that, he just doesn't even notice Will. And it's not necessarily that he doesn't care. I don't think he has bad intentions, but he should notice this. He's old enough, and he should be mature enough to notice his friend is in need. And like I said, I think that's just the signs of a poor friend, just how, self-absorbed Mike is. And I just found it to be really annoying to deal with throughout the entire season, just to watch him being so self-centered like that. Intentional or not, it's just, again, the signs of a poor friend. So hopefully in season 5, we'll get to see Will have the opportunity to, open up about his problems. Fortunately, Jonathan did notice this. Jonathan, his older brother, did notice from the front seat what, you could tell what Will was thinking. And, at the end of the season, he, had a one-on-one with Will and told him, hey, man, I'm your brother. I'm always here for you. I'm always going to love you. I'm here, man. And, despite maybe, not talking to you enough sometimes in the past, I mean, I'm always working to better myself, and I'm always going to be here for you, brother. And that was just such an amazing moment. I love that. That's probably one of, my favorite moments from the entire season, to see that awesome brother, relationship, to see them supporting each other and being there for each other. That was an awesome moment. And hopefully moving into, the 5th season, Jonathan will continue to be there for his brother, and I'm confident that he will, and hopefully Mike will see the error of his ways. And I'm not saying that Mike is evil by any means, but I think he definitely has a lot of, maturing to do. So hopefully he does that come to season 5. And hopefully Will have all the, support he needs from his friends and family. So anyways, thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate it. Y'all let me know down in the comments below what you think about this whole situation. And yeah, I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to discuss things in the comments. Thank you all so much for watching. See y'all next time.